Hi, welcome to Kutopia, our very own knitting utopia. My name is Sonia, and I'm recording this in Helsinki, Finland, where I live with my family of four. Today is Sunday, January 12th, 2025. This is the first episode of the new year. I'm officially back at work from parental leave, and husband's taking his turn to stay home with our second child, and it's been an adjustment. It's gonna be an adjustment. I'm full body tired from all the brain work I need to do, but it's good. This is a good thing for us, for our family. Today, I want to share with you one finished object, two works in progress, and three crafty goals for 2025. I even did notes this time. So let's get cracking. Okay, finished object. One finished object. This is a project I shared with you in the last episode with my little assistant. And it's the Advent socks from Eldur Yarns Advent sock yarn kit that I got myself last Christmas, last December. And here they are. So it's a fingering weight yarn. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that the main color, this is the Advent part of the sock. So the yarn came packed in a 2 paper bags, so you couldn't see the yarn beforehand, and every day you would need a stripe, and then you got this contrasting color to go with the stripes. This feels odd in here, but I think that's just the blockers. Let's put it this way. There's nothing more wrong with the heel, at least I hope so. But yeah, it came with 2 balls or 2 20-gram mini skeins of contrasting color. So I still have good balls of those left. And then 2 paper bags that were holding this self-striping yarn. And I didn't finish these on Christmas Eve. Not nearly, but I did finish these in 2024. So this is my last FO of 2024. And it's such a happy pair of socks. It's like a dopamine. It's like a dose of dopamine. And I really like the rainbow pattern of the stripes, and I think that this light gray keeps it nice and happy, because for me gray is a happy color. And yeah, this is a fingering weight yarn. The gray one I think is BFL nylon blend, so a sock yarn obviously, and the self-striping yarn might be merino sock yarn, but I'm not 100% sure of that. Yeah, I think I heard it somewhere or something like that. This is how much I pay attention these days. But yeah, anyways, sock yarn it is, fingering weight sock yarn. I used 2.25 millimeter needles, and I cast on 64 stitches. I didn't cast on 64 stitches. I cast on, I think, 10 or 12 stitches using a Turkish cast on method. which is my absolute favorite because it's so easy. And I then did the increases as one does until I had 64 stitches, and then this is an afterthought heel. I'll link the construction of this afterthought heel in the description box down below, because this, even though it sits funnily right now, it fits my feet perfectly, better than any other afterthought heel that I have tried. It looks a bit funny. Well, it's not that bad. It looks a bit funny when you're knitting it, as I shared with you on the previous episode, but the fit is perfect. Great, if not perfect. But yeah, because this is an afterthought heel and I have a fairly high arch. Is this the arch? This portion of my foot is high. So I did an increase. I increased, I think, 1 or 2 stitches before my heel, and then I decreased those stitches after I was done with the heel, so I got the bit of extra room for my heel that I needed. And that's just something, if you need a lot of socks or if you need a lot of anything, you learn to adjust things to fit your needs. Or if you need a lot of socks for another person, you learn what sort of heel and what's the stitch count and what sort of tricks you need to do to have the perfect fit. And I have perfected my socks, toe-up socks, to be like this. And yeah, then I just continued with my 64 stitches. I did 1 by 1 rip, and I did not do a tubular cast on. I wanted to, but it was not happening. I will succeed in tubular bind off in 2025, but I wasn't ready to battle with it with these socks. I wanted to have I wanted to finish these socks so I could wear them. So I did Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, and even that failed at the first try, but I did it again, and now it's fine. It fits my feet nicely. It's almost too stretchy, but it's good enough. We're happy with this. Yeah, I haven't weighed these or anything. I'm guessing it's around 60 to 70 grams, as it usually is with my socks when using fingering weight yarn. But yeah, the last FO of 2024. And it's pretty. Happy with these. And now that I've shared them with you, I can actually start wearing them. Ain't that nice? Works in progress. So yeah, I have 2 active whips that I want to share with you today. And the first one is my Lulu slipover from Petite Knit that I started last September as a part of my 7 days 7 cast-ons, and then I didn't work on this at all after after that one day when I cast this on, and then I picked this back up again after I was done with my Christmas knitting, and found out that my gauge was off and had to start again. Had to completely start again. my gauge was off, so I redid the whole thing. I'm sorry. But yeah, here we are. Now we're getting somewhere. I started to let's start with the yarn. The yarn that I'm using is this wool and silk blend from Pirtin Kehräämö, a Finnish spinnery, a Finnish sort of long-standing spinnery. So wool and silk blend. It's 50% Finship wool, undyed grey Finship wool, my absolute favorite. No surprise there. And then 50% of recycled wool. And it gives this tweedy look and texture to the yarn. This is one of my absolute favorite yarns, and it's been sitting in my stash for quite a while for me to find a perfect pattern. And I'm pretty sure that this is it. Well, hopefully, because I have put a lot of effort in this already. This is a DKW yarn, and the pattern calls for a slightly heavier yarn, but it's gonna bloom beautifully when wet blocked, so I'm not worried about that. The first version that I started, it was the 8th size in the pattern, and I used 4mm needles as the pattern calls for, but I have pretty loose gauge, and I usually don't gauge swatch. I've already confessed these things in the last episode. I'm gonna try to be better this year, and I realized after I picked the project back on the needles after doing the Christmas projects, I realized that the gauge was too loose, way too loose, and I was ending up with a really oversized slipover. So I checked my gauge and did the math and took a risk. So even with gauge swatching, I'm apparently not that precise of a person. So I went down a size. I'm now knitting the size 7th size of the pattern, and I went down a needle size as well. So I'm using 3.5mm bamboo needles, and this I'm fairly sure is gonna be a good slightly oversized fit for me. I've been sort of trying to measure and seeing this, but it has to be. Or even, is it still way too big now that I'm holding it like this? It wasn't this big yesterday. It didn't feel this big yesterday. Oh my god. I'm getting banned from YouTube. But yeah, I think I need to check my sizing once again, but no, it can't be, because my gauge is still slightly off. I think I got 18 stitches per 10 centimeters. I should get 20 stitches per 10 centimeters, so it can't be that big. Well, yeah, I'm gonna be good with my gauge. I'm gonna I've done the back piece. Well, I haven't done the back piece. I've done my armhole increases, and now I think I'm almost at the point where I should start ribbing for the back piece. So I think after I'm done filming today, I will lay this down and measure it properly before continuing with this. It's a a super nice yarn to work with. I love the feel of working with this yarn, and I prefer working with bamboo needles, so that's nice as well. And it's kind of going fast, but also I find that all this second guessing and thinking about the fit, which is important because I want to have a garment that I will wear, but I find that any sort of even slight hiccup in my project, um, it affects my motivation to finish this, which is silly because, you know, rather do it twice and have it perfect than just do it once and then end up with something that I'm not gonna wear, that just sits in my closet. But yeah, that was a bird. That was a bird. But yeah, whenever I get the gauge right, it's good enough. It has to be. Whenever I finish this, it's gonna be great and I'm gonna wear this a ton. But yeah, I think it's like a week and a half since my last episode, so I've been busy. I don't think I even need that much this week because of the work, because of my work. But apparently I did. Yeah. It's gonna be so good. But yeah, first work in progress, Lulu Slipover by Petite Knit. Moving on. The second one is a new cast on. It's the first cast on of 2025. I started this on January 1st, and my friend who lives elsewhere actually started one as well. So we're having a two-person knit along with this one. She doesn't knit that much or that often. So when she said that she wants to have some sort of project to work on, I jumped immediately, like, we should. I think she was visiting us and she found this pattern, and then we had the idea that we should both do it together. And this is gonna be a Fiona shawl. It's a pattern from Novita Knits, Novita, which is a Finnish yarn brand, and they released this magazine, Novita Essentials, few years back. Yeah, it's from fall 2024, and it has a lot of sort of basic knit designs, and this is the first thing that I'm knitting from. Oh my god. Yeah, that's the first thing I'm knitting from this book or magazine. It's hopefully not gonna be the last, but this is what we're starting with. And I'm just checking the designer. Yes, it's a Fiona shawl by Linda Permanto, and it's gonna be like this. I'll probably find a picture from Novita Knits website to go in here, but here you go. Anyways, so it's just gonna be a long rectangular shawl. It's knit using double knitting, so it's really squishy and thick and lovely. It's gonna be so lovely around my neck, but it's gonna take ages and then some, because I'm basically knitting every row twice. because it's double knitting. But yeah, I immediately knew this. The yarn that I'm using is from Novita. It's what the pattern called for. It's called Hehku. Glow, you could translate it. It's 60% mohair and 40% wool, and it's not the softest. There is a bit of a itch factor in it, but it's not a problem for me. I'm not that itchy, and I think this is gonna be a sort of well, all shawls are accessories, but this is an accessory with a capital A, so that I'll just throw it around my neck and look very stylish wearing it. So it's not gonna be like that close to my neck so that it itches. But yeah, I immediately knew that I wanted to have a bolder color than I normally do when knitting this. I wanted this to be a pop of color with my black and gray wardrobe, and I was thinking about lilac for a long time, but then I saw this electric blue, and I was sold. I also have 250 grams of fingering weight silk in this same color, waiting to be knit to a Tolsta Tank by Rebecca Clow. So apparently I'm very into this color right now. But yeah, I am doing a modification to the pattern. So the pattern that I already lost in here. Oh man. No. Here we go. It has these tassels, fringe, just a regular fringe, and it looks good. And there's nothing wrong with that. But before I started, where am I gonna put this? Before I started working on this, because we both bought the yarn in advance, and we were just waiting for the January 1st to start with our own projects. So it was around Christmas that I saw a picture of another shawl pattern on Instagram. No, it wasn't on Instagram, because I remember I couldn't send it directly to my friend. I have no idea where I saw the shawl, but that shawl I don't know who is it from, what's the name of it, is it even a pattern, or was it just a shawl that somebody knit? Is this all just in my head? I don't know. But anyway, that shawl had I-cord fringe that was made with knitting I-cord tubes along the edge of the shawl, and I really liked the look of that one. And so I started to knit this using provisional cast on. I know already that it's gonna be a hassle to pick the stitches from this provisional cast on because of the yarn, and because this yarn is so fluffy. But I really want to have those knitted I-cord tassels, fringe, whatever you call it. So I'm willing to fight with this one. So I think I cast on 80 stitches in here. I'm using 4.5 millimeter needles. So I think it's 20. I need to think. I need to think this through. Am I aiming for 10 I chords or 20 or whatever? So I'll pick all the stitches to my needles and then work the I chords one by one. And that's probably gonna take a bit more of the yarn than the fringes that are in the pattern, or at least that's what I think. I'm not sure. So I might need to buy an extra ball of yarn just so that I have a long enough shawl. Because if a shawl like this that's meant to be sort of a wow factor, my style is very not wow, so that's why I'm laughing. But this is meant to have a wow factor, so I don't want this to be too short. I want this to be long enough, like 2 meters or something like that. So if I need to get another ball of yarn, then I will get another ball of yarn, because that's needed for me to finish this. Because I just got the six balls, 50-gram balls that the pattern calls for. This is a sort of TK yarn. I don't think the logic applies for a fluffy yarn like this, but the 50-gram ball has 125 meters of yarn, or 136 yards, if that's your measurement. Measurement. Anyhow, you get my point. But yeah, really loving the color of the yarn, loving the feel of the fabric, but not so keen with the slow progress. But at least now that we only have this much of the shawl, I think that this is something that I can take with me whenever I have office days. I work from home for about 50% of time. At least that's the plan for this spring. So I'll have 2 or 3 office days per week. And yeah, there are those type of meetings where I can easily knit and participate, especially if it's something as mindless as this one. So maybe I'll take this along next week whenever I go to the office, because I really want to be working on this Lulu slipover, because I want to wear it before the spring gets here. And it's not even, well, now today we have snow and it's a beautiful cold sunny day, but tomorrow I think it's gonna rain. It's gonna be plus some degrees and it's gonna rain for foreseeable future. So I need to finish this if I want to wear this before spring arrives, officially arrives. But yeah, these are my 2 works in progress. Let's move on to my crafty goals. 3 crafty goals for 2025. As you can see from the whiteness behind me, it's a sunny day. It's a beautiful sunny day. And yeah, I probably should go outside after I'm filming this. It would do me good. But yeah, three crafty goals for 2025. The first goal is a big one, and to be honest, it's gonna be a tough one for me. Husband and I decided to do a no buy year for 2025, or at least a low buy year for 2025. We have two small children, and the stuff just keeps accumulating. And I feel like there's there's new things coming to us from the doors and the windows and everywhere. Whenever I turn around, there's new stuff, and it takes a lot of work to maintain our home when it's filled with stuff that we don't actually need. Also, it takes a lot of money, and we want to save money. We want to renovate our kitchen at some point, so we decided to not buy stuff this year. Obviously, we're gonna need something. It's not realistic to think that with two small children we can survive just, with buying groceries and stuff. But we're gonna be very careful with the things that we buy. We're gonna consider them before buying. We're gonna negotiate, the two of us, and we're prioritizing secondhand versus buying things new. And if something breaks, we're gonna look into fixing it first before buying a new one. Or, well, the first step is to think if we need it at all. If we do, then we try to fix it. If it's not fixable, then we'll look in the second-hand options, and then the third one is to buy new. So we're aiming to save money and environment at the same time. And this no buy includes yarn and craft supplies as well. So the rules are: I am allowed to buy 5 quantities of new yarn this year if I feel that I really need them. And by need, I mean that I really want them. This is a hobby. There are no needs in here. But yeah, I am allowed to buy 5 new quantities of yarn and it means for one project. Yeah, one specific project in mind. It's not like I'm gonna buy 3 yarn for 3 sweaters at once and call it a one quantity. That's not it. A yarn for a project, a pattern, that's one quantity. So if I run out of yarn with this shawl before I'm done with my I-cord fringe, then I am allowed to buy that ball of yarn, but that counts as one quantity of yarn. And yeah, because I am really concerned about the climate crisis, as I'm sure many of you are, and we all should be. And I am now ready to admit that my yarn stash, or my relationship with buying new yarn, it's not sustainable. It has not been sustainable for many years. Because in theory, I feel that knitting is a sustainable hobby. If you only buy the yarn that you need, if you only work on projects that are gonna get used, that will have a use and a long lifespan, then it is a sustainable hobby. Because we are creative beings, in my opinion, and it's not just my opinion. We are creative beings, and for me, knitting and crocheting and crafting, that is the way to express my creativity. So um, at no point am I ready to give that up. I just need to be more sustainable when doing it. And having a yarn stash that's, I don't know, 15, 16 kilos. I don't even want to know exactly. I just know I have way too much yarn. I have so much yarn. So that's not sustainable. Especially last year, because I was home with baby. And I sort of had the time to knit, but then again, I wasn't finishing anything. I felt like I wasn't finishing anything. I didn't use that much yarn, so I just bought yarn. I visited yarn stores with baby, and I sort of gave myself a blanket permission to buy yarn if I wanted to, and I did want to, and now I feel bad. And I'm not just gonna sell away my yarn stash and start again, because that's sort of tempting, just to get rid of the old yarn and then only buy new yarn when I'm ready to start a new project. No, we're not gonna do that. I'm committing to the yarn that I have already bought. I am gonna use all of that, and it's gonna take me quite a few years. And I have good yarn in there. And even if I only had yarn that does not speak to me, then, and there are some yarns or some things that I had a project in mind when I bought them, and I no longer want to do that project, but I want to challenge myself to still use that yarn and use it well, use it in things that will get used. So yeah, I'm not punishing myself. This is not punishment. This is a challenge. This is a challenge, and I am committing to that. So no buy, low buy. 5 new quantities of yarn, that is okay. Second-hand yarn, that is okay, because I really don't buy that much second-hand yarn. The market for second-hand yarn is not that big. So if I happen to find inspiring yarn second-hand, then that's okay, because recycling and buying things second-hand, that's not the issue in our consumption. It's the production of new materials, new stuff, new garments, new electronics. That's the issue. That's the main issue here. Second-hand market, that's okay. we all should buy more things second-hand. So yeah, I'm not gonna buy new yarn. Yeah. If I do, I'm gonna share it with you guys. I'm gonna be honest. If I buy more than 5 quantities of new yarn, I'm gonna share that with you. I'm gonna be honest. I try not to sugarcoat my reasonings. If I fail, I'm gonna own up to it as well. But I'm not gonna fail. Please encourage me on this one. We're gonna do this. So yeah, no yarn hauls on this channel for 2025 or 26 or 27. But I'm sure you understand, and I hope that new yarn is not the reason that you're here at all. But yeah, second goal, I'm just checking my notes here. The second goal for 2025 is to mend things, to mend and repair stuff that I already own, so that I can increase. Anyway, I'm gonna mend and repair stuff so that they get more use and not end up in landfill. I have this basket. This is pretty much full of socks and mittens that need to be mended. I'll also have my mending tool here ready. And then I have these pants, kids pants that I'm gonna cut to be shorts because there is a massive hole in the knee. And yeah, so I'm gonna mend at least 12 things in 2025. So around one mending project, but one mending project per month. Yeah. Mending, repairing, it doesn't have to be knitting or it doesn't have to be one of these. It can be anything that gets broken around the house as long as I repair it or mend it. But these are already here, so this is kind of an easy one to get going with. I'm not very good at mending, or I'm good enough in a sense that I mend things and they work again. They are wearable again, but they're not pretty. My repairs, my sock mendings, they're not as pretty as I'd like them to be. But this is more about practicality than aesthetics. But yeah, that's the second goal of 2025, and I want to share my mendings with you as well. Maybe that's gonna be a new segment in this episode. I don't know, or I'll just share them with my FOs and whips. But yeah, that's the second goal of 2025. That's another big one as well, because I don't have a routine of mending things. I wish I did, and I'm gonna build one this year, but I don't have one right now. The third goal for 2025, this is a good one. These all are good ones. This is a happy one, if you could say that. This does not come from my climate anxiety. This is just a fun one. But yeah, I'm gonna finish my cozy memory blanket. This is a scrap yarn blanket, fingering weight scrap yarn blanket that I started, I think 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago. And it's gonna be a big one. I have reached the width that I want to. No, it's not that. It's here. This is the width that I want to. So it's a good 160, even 170 centimeters wide. So it's gonna be a big blanket. And this has never had any deadline. This is just something to work on whenever I feel like it. And this is a project in which I can use all of my fingering weight leftover sock yarns and superwashed yarns. But last fall, when I was knitting this, kid came up to me and asked, "Is that for me? It's a really pretty one. Is that for me? I want to wear that. Oh, I want to use that." So now I have a deadline. I haven't promised kid anything. I haven't told them that by summer or by next Christmas you will have this. But now that I know that kid wants this, they have one store-bought blanket that they use all the time. And now that now that I know that they want this one, I'm really tempted to finish this one to give gift to them. So I'm working this diagonally. It's really hard to show you. I'm not working horizontal or vertical. I'm doing this diagonally. And this is the other edge of the blanket, and here's the longer edge. And I'm not quite happy with the length just yet. I think I need to work few more rounds and then see if I'm happy with the proportions, because I want it to be a good looking rectangular. I don't want to be too square. So yeah, I think I need to do more squares to this edge before I'm happy, and then I'll just do the shortening diagonal rows until I have this finished rectangular blanket. As you can see, I am knitting with all the tiniest balls of scrap yarn here, and I have no plan with the colors or anything. This is just gonna be a colorful and happy blanket. And yeah, so I have a deadline, and that deadline is this year, so 2025. Kid has their birthday in July, and so I'm kind of tempted to finish this before that. But I'm not gonna tell them anything about that, because I'm not sure if that is realistic. Because I don't want to be working. I don't want to work solely on this one. I want to knit other things as well. So I'm not committing to the July deadline just yet. Christmas is another good possibility. So maybe I'll work on this throughout the year 2025. Who knows? But this is the year that I'm gonna finish the blanket, and then I'll probably start another one straight away, because obviously baby's gonna need one as well. But yeah, that's not gonna be a cozy memory blanket. It's gonna be something else. I don't know yet what that will be. But those are my 3 crafty goals for 2025. Please leave a comment down below. Do you have any crafty goals for this year? Or are you in a place which you're crafting that you're you don't feel the need to add anything extra to that? Because not all of us are a resolution type of people. I love setting resolutions. I do that every year, and I don't always finish them. But I've been sitting on these three things for quite a while already. It's just it has taken me time to be honest with myself about my uh, consumption habits. To be ready to admit that I really need to cut down my consumption. I really need to stop buying new things, and I need to start to take better care with the stuff that I already own. So yeah, it's been a long road, and it's gonna continue being a long road, but it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, please leave a comment down below if you have any resolutions, or if you have something to ask about my resolutions, or anything in general. I'd be happy to hear about you. If you liked this episode, then please press the like button. Feel free to subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next episode as well. Bye.